We're joined by Mittal Kotecha. He is Crédit Agricole's Global Head of Currency Strategy. Mittal, great to see you as ever. Well, how would you characterise what's going on? Because, I mean, I was looking for the month of May, the dollar was actually, if you look at the dollar index, was actually higher. I couldn't believe it. That's right. I think the dollar had a bit of a respite over the month after many months of pressure. The reality was, I think the dollar looked oversold. We had Eurozone concerns, peripheral concerns, starting to peel back the layers of resistance on the euro. So euro did come under some pressure. But as we've gone now, we're starting June, it looks like some of that is reversing. The dollar's back on a negative trend, and some of the risk currencies seem to be doing well as risk aversion currencies. So it's a little bit of a mixed batch here in terms of what's driving markets. But certainly the dollar doesn't look like it's on a strong start to the month at the moment.
How much is the end of quantitative easing priced into the dollar?
I don't think it's priced in as yet. I think there is still a lot of uncertainty about what happens after QE2.
It's got to strengthen surely afterwards.
Well, this is my belief. We're dollar bullish for the second half of this year in particular. Our view is that once this massive influx of global liquidity, dollar liquidity is withdrawn or starts to be withdrawn, we start to see more upside for the dollar. US bond yields move higher in relative terms to other countries, and that should help the dollar. But at the moment, that, of course, isn't happening. We're all waiting for the end of QE2, this soft patch in economic data in the US.
Well, how soft is it, really? Or is it just, well, you know, nothing grows absolutely solidly?
Well,
there's too much being read into it.
I think markets are being disappointed. Our own economic surprise indices have been negative for the US now, but saying that they're negative for Europe. But yesterday we had another couple of weak US numbers, consumer confidence, Chicago PMI. Housing numbers have been quite soft. We're seeing a double dip in the housing market. So it is quite a severe soft patch, but we still look for growth to gain momentum over the coming months. So we expect this to be put behind us, and that means the dollar should ultimately, although it's under pressure now, it should forget about this weakness in economic data.
A quick target on what you expect against the euro and the yen, and do you expect any movement for the dollar against the yen, because it's been pretty much in a range between 80 and 83?
Well, our end-year forecast for euro-dollar is 130, so we are bearish on the euro. Our end-year forecast for dollar-yen is around 94, so again, some big moves from current levels, and again, as I said, a lot of that is because we do expect a general recovery in the US dollar.
Well, with the Greece situation, does it surprise you that the euro has been as resilient as it has been?
Well, it is a bit surprising. I think, you know, as I said, I think as we move towards the end of May, we were seeing some of that resistance being peeled away. I still think there's a lot of uncertainty about Greece and other peripheral countries in Europe. But one factor that continues to support the euro is just central bank buying. As central banks in Asia intervene, they're, of course, recycling these flows.
Is this also the diversification story of reserves here?
Absolutely, and that's really boosted the euro, helped to support this currency. But again, I don't think that's going to be as supportive in coming months.
Right, let's just take a look at some of the currencies in this part of the world. You know, what are you favouring? I mean, does the Kiwi dollar got many more legs?
Well, actually, I like, in terms of relative plays, Aussie dollar versus New Zealand dollar. I think the Aussie dollar Kiwi cross has been oversold. My own econometric models suggest that there is some potential upside in the short term with this cross, even moving up back to the 135 level from just above 130 at the moment. So although New Zealand dollar I'm not particularly bearish on, I just think it's come a long way in a short period of time. You know, it's been the best performing currency in May.
The New Zealand dollar's come from it's been a very short time as well, even shorter time.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. The New Zealand dollar has been this very strong performing currency. So I think the Aussie's been left a little bit behind. We had very soft Q1 GDP number. We know we can put that behind us. It was backward looking. So I favour the Aussie dollar against the Kiwi at the moment.
Right, what about some of the other ones here? You talk about your risk aversion barometer. What is that and what does it tell you?
Well, it's our in-house measure of risk appetite or risk aversion, and this has been, over time, had strong correlations with various currencies. I must admit the correlations at the moment are starting to lessen, suggesting risk influence on markets is not as significant, but this does tell us at times of high risk aversion which currencies to avoid and which currencies to buy.
Mittal, great to see you as ever. Mittal Kotecha there from Crédit Agricole CIB.